right, here's the deal. The governor should drive a Humbler the way Jack Wagner does, $186,000 for cars. He cut adult basic, leaving 51,000 people without any sort of health insurance, period. He cut education by $1 billion, period. And he bought 4 new cars. They could suggest all they want that the state police bought these cars. They could say all they want. But the truth is, I promise you, Jack Wagner, if Jack Wagner, the Auditor General, wanted a new car, he would have a new car. Jack Wagner drives a Humbler like I do. State Leader Jesse White, Jack Wagner will be on this talk show in the next few minutes talking about his Humbler. Jesse White joining us. Representative White, good morning.
Morning, Marty. How's it going?
Why is this such a hot-button issue with you?
Well, I take it a little bit personally for a couple of reasons. For one, I'm a state representative. I have every right to get a car out of the state fleet. Now, I didn't have the $54,000 SUV option that the governor had, but me and a lot of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, we decided to lead by example and not take state cars. We're reimbursed for actual mileage, and that's it.
Listen to this question. This is actually an interesting conundrum, and I'm so glad you called in because it adds so much balance to this. So Dom Costa said the same thing. Look, I'll take my own car. I'll take 51 cents a mile. If you do the math, Jesse, and you're a straight shooter on this talk show. If you do the math, you could actually do some math where it would suggest it would be cheaper for me as a taxpayer to pay for Jesse White's state car than to give you 51 cents a mile. Do you see that possibility, sir?
I've heard the argument both ways, and to me, this is what it boils down to. This is one of those things where the people that I've spoken to are almost uniform in how they feel about it. And I think what it also boils down to is this, Marty. It forces me to take responsibility. I totaled my vehicle driving home from Harrisburg. I got in an accident on 79 last year. I had to go out. I had to buy a new car, just like everybody else does, get a loan, the whole bit. I got stuck in a lemon law claim. It was 8 months of pure hell. When it was all said and done, I had to go out and buy another car after all that. These are things that regular, normal people have to deal with. We shouldn't be any different.
You're not complaining. You're just saying, no, you do what I have to do.
Right, and I think it's also important to know, I feel better if I've got to go down the store to get a gallon of milk, or if I'm going to be going out doing a campaign event. I don't want anybody saying, hey, is that the state's car? Am I paying for that car? I can say, nope, it's mine. I pay for everything myself, because that's leadership by example. And for Governor Corbett to say that, he went on and did that commercial saying 17,000 cars is ridiculous, but now all of a sudden somehow 17,004 is the number that makes total sense. It's not leadership by example.
By the way, Jesse White is referring to when Corbett was running for governor, he was talking about there were 17,000 state cars and that the number of state cars need to be cut dramatically, and then we get word that they go out and buy 4 new state cars. This is about more than 4 new state cars, is it not, Representative?
It is, and let me be clear. The governor and the lieutenant governor they have every right by law to have a vehicle, and I understand there are security concerns, and I get all that. But there's 2 points to be made. One, I question the need for their wives to get state vehicles.
Right.
They have no formal role in state government, number one. Number two is, again, it goes back to leadership by example. And at a time where, Governor Corbett has no problem going into my school districts like Burgettstown, Avella, Fort Cherry, places like that, and slashing them down to the bone and turning a blind eye to that. I think that what my voters are telling me is he better damn well lead by example.
Yeah, it's aggravating and then they don't speak. They just say, well, this isn't a popularity contest. We don't care if folks don't like us. I don't care if folks don't like him either, but here's what happens. And Jesse White, you know it. If his popularity is at 30%, then that means he doesn't have the juice to get done what he wants in Harrisburg. Is this not true as well?
Well, you're right, but the thing is, Marty, apparently it was a popularity contest whenever he was on TV making those claims last year. That was what the election was. It was a popularity contest. So, when you're going to make the claims that you're going to crack down on state cars when you're running, and then when you get into office, it just sends a horrible, horrible message.
Jesse, should he be driving a Humbler like I drive with 114,000 miles on it, or Jack Wagner drives with 235,000 miles on his car?
He should be driven around in a safe, reliable vehicle.
Right on.
That's it. And, and the thing is, like I said, if he was going to take a car from the fleet or a state police car, I get that it's a little different because you're the governor, and
right.
this isn't just banging on the governor.
Right.
But this, to me, Marty, this was more than anything was bad politics.
It really is.
This was an opportunity, and that's what I've had so many people in this building on both sides of the aisle say to me. I'm sitting in the Capitol right now.
Right.
So many people have said to me, he could have really led by example here. He could have said, I'm writing a check to make a car payment every month just like all of you.
I agree. Jesse White, got to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
It's always a pleasure. I agree with him. He just randomly called in. I appreciate that as people listen.